It's your weekly breakaway for fun conversations on pro cycling. Come and join us for another ride in the team bus. I'm Matt Harper, and together with my brother Justin, we'll do deep-ish dives on professional bike races, teams, riders, and all sorts of cycling-related stories. And we might just sprinkle in some other shiny pop cultural objects along the way. So jump in the saddle and tighten up those shoes. The road awaits. Allez! Hello and welcome to the Team Bus. I'm Matt and this is my brother Justin, and today on the bus we'll be providing a full recap of the opening weekend of the 2025 UCI Road Cycling World Championships from Kigali, Rwanda. The first weekend is devoted to the women's and men's individual time trials, where we did not lack for excitement, but in the end got the results everyone kind of expected. We're also going to talk a bit about our predictions for this weekend's upcoming Road Race World Championships. Later, we'll be breaking down all of the stage racing action from the men's tour of Luxembourg, and we'll review the women's and men's Grand Prix de Wallonie one-day classics from Belgium. And finally, as always, we'll finish out with a ride up the formidable cobblestones of the Cote de Kimihurara in the Broom Wagon. Allez! All right, well, welcome to the Team Bus. I'm Matt, and I'm here with my brother Justin, and we're going to dive right into the ITTs that we saw over the weekend at the World Championships from Kigali. Fairly exciting, but somewhat predictable. Let's start with the women's. Had a 31.2 kilometer course, 460 meters of elevation gain. Really cool the way it started inside the arena there in the downtown, next to the
with those drummers.
Yeah, they had the drummers and the ladies singing and stuff, and yeah, it was really cool how they did that. And how you're like back there in the dark and everything, looking all produced, and then burst into the bright white African sunlight. Super cool. Had Joe Rousel and Danny Rowe on the call, at least the pirated stream that I watched.
That's the same stream that I had.
Yeah, I like those too. And I don't know, we can kind of fast forward to, I would say the first sort of significant thing is the finish of Anna van der Breggen, who spent a good bit of time in the hot seat yesterday.
Really stellar performance from her. I mean, it's really shown that she is on very good form, after coming out of retirement.
She's also a master of this discipline, She has been the world champion in this discipline before. Agreed.
But it's also overshadowed by the fact that even though she's had a lot of good results, she hasn't really gotten the big one this year. So it'll remain to be seen if this is something that, she wants to continue if she's not getting, the tops, the top places. I don't know. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It was a great ride and looked to stand pretty strong all the way up until the end.
I think, I think it's for her, it's really, well, but when she was coming back at the beginning of the year, our thought was like she's mad because she never got that shot at the Tour de France, so she's coming back for that. She didn't win that this year and was really basically working for Demi Vollering. So one wonders if that's an aspiration that she's kind of let go at this point. And then you have to ask yourself, well, she just seems happier racing than she did de-essing, and perhaps she just really enjoys being on the bike, part of the team, and will sort of continue in that, elder stateswoman, team leader, mentor kind of role for that team for another couple of years. I think her best result this year, I think she got a stage win in one of the 3 Grand Tours, if I'm not mistaken.
A breakaway or something like that.
But maybe I'm thinking that was a just one of the 1 week stage races or something like that. But she definitely got a win, that's for sure, on a breakaway, and I feel like was pretty present throughout the year. We were
She's been
we
on many podiums throughout the
yeah we
year. I
yeah we
mean,
spent plenty of time talking about her. So um, yeah, so she sat in the hot seat for a while. She put up a really good time, and I like the way they do it in the with the World Championships, and probably the same for the Olympics, where they actually go off in terms of their favorite status, so that we got to see a cluster of the heavy hitters coming towards the end. And so it was kind of cool. Anna von der Breggen put up this time, and then it was sort of just like one after the next. What are you going to do with this time? What are you going to do with this time?
yeah.
Um, and
It's what made the. It's honestly that's what made the men's race as interesting as it was.
mhm, mhm. Um, so uh, yeah, so some of the people that we were watching, of course, Chloe Dygert, our American girl and former world champion in the discipline as well. Demi Vollering, Marlon Rissa, um, a couple of others, but those were your main ones. Anna Henderson, Brody Chapman, Ala Ruud, the Norwegian woman, um, Julia Labuse, Niedermeyer, um, all in there, kind of in the top 10 favorites. Um, but it became clear pretty early that Chloe Dygert was not really on form. The course was kind of interesting. It sort of started with a climb, and then flattened out for the middle part, and then finished with the big cobbled climb that we mentioned in the intro, the Kimihurara.
Yeah, and that climb just gobbled up people. I mean, it was tough.
Right. And Chloe did not do great on the opening climb. And then we were kind of like, all right, well, let's see if she can get into a rhythm, turn on that giant diesel engine of hers and make up for it. But it was not her day. It became, I think, very clear um, fairly soon. Um, Marlon Roysa, I was surprised to see. I feel like she started like fifth to last, like fifth position or something like that, which considering her form this year and everything else, like I would have thought that she would have gone off later. She would have been one of the last two or three. Um, but she went off like fifth, so she was the first one to start like challenging the intermediate time checks of Anna von der Breggen. Um, Royce, Vollering, Dygert all out on course while AVB sitting there in a hot seat. Um, and by the second intermediate time check, Marlon Royce is already up 28 seconds on Honor von der Breggen. So we're thinking, all right,
She was flying.
this is going to be the time. I thought like there was something about this race where they did not look like they were going fast a lot of the time that I was watching, even though they were. I don't know. Is my eyes
I think it's
eyes were playing
the
tricks on me.
illusion of the race against the clock.
Hmm. Um,
I
yeah.
don't know. I
So
also found myself like very, very like wandering during the race, wanting to see as much as I possibly could of like the terrain.
yeah,
So,
we should mention. I think I had it at the beginning of my men's race notes, but the like tourism package that that the Rwanda people were putting in there was pretty stunning.
yeah,
Some of those shots were just incredible, and it's just really, really cool just to see, in not only in the live action of the race, but in these pre-recorded like cutaways to the tourism packages, just a completely different set of stuff than we normally see in these things. We normally see like, Roman ruins and European castles and the Alps, and stuff like that. And this was just like complete. We're seeing like elephants and
yeah.
giraffes and uh, just crazy,
It's
jungle, forested
yeah,
mountain ranges.
and
And
it's really interesting how they incorporate nature into most of their like features,
their
and
iconography and stuff.
yes, it's
Yeah,
really, 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 really beautiful.
yeah. No, I'm just
Did you?
beyond myself excited for the road races next week and a big part of it is just that reason, just to watch them racing on this course, in front of these fans in this area.
Well, and
The
the fans
fans,
were absolutely, you know, ape man. They were just like completely into it, especially at the end, man. The massive crowds at the end of the at the gantry were just amazing.
yeah, and apparently like um this course is always featured in the Tour of Rwanda every year, which is a fairly long-standing race. Um, that's this is I think it's usually the queen stage of the race is the Kimihurara climb and the other climbs or whatever. Um, and the crowds there for the Tour of Rwanda on that stage are also crazy. So I would say for the World Championships that might bring out even more people. I mean, I feel like the World Champions will bring out all the people that show up for Tour of Rwanda, and then a whole bunch more
Oh
people.
yeah.
So it's going to be absolutely insanity on the weekend.
Did you see the like giant beehive thing? That's like okay. Do
The
you real?
convention center.
But you realize that they were like riding bikes on that thing?
Mm-mm.
So it has like a
No,
a thing that goes all the way around it
you're kidding
on
me.
the outside. Okay, that's what gives it that beehive look. It's like a
Yeah.
ramp, dude. And I and
You ride
and
an elevator up to the top, get on your bike, and coast
no, I
down.
saw people. They were like riding up it and
Oh, you go up.
getting to the top and like fist bumping.
Oh my God, I'll have to go back and watch that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, dude. I was like, I only saw it once and then I never saw it again. And I meant to go back and look, but I wasn't. I was just thinking about it now, like, oh yeah, that thing. And I saw it. It almost looked like they were training on it.
Hmm That's cool. Yeah, there were some really, really cool architectural features over there, just in general. Kigali looks like a really neat kind of a
Hmm.
town. Just like looking at some of the little cafes and stuff along the sides of that cobble climb and just yeah, the whole thing is super cool. I'm so glad that it has as yet gone off smoothly.
Yeah.
There was no issue because there was talk of it like just getting moved, and so yeah, very cool. So um, intermediate one, Vollering, who is wearing the number one, um, goes out and is less than 1 second off of Royce's time at the intermediate one. Um, Chloe came through in seventh, 28 seconds down. Um, but it kind of looked like it was going to be coming down to Royce v. Vollering, which is kind of one of the stories of 2025. These two women going head to head. But of course, they're both still chasing on Van der Breggen. Royce comes through intermediate three, 24 seconds up on AVB. Um, and this brings them into the final climb, the Cote de Kimihurara. So this thing is 1.3 kilometers, average gradient 6.3, and it's cobbled. And that thing just seemed like it went on forever.
Yeah.
Um,
It looked
but
brutal.
so cool though. Just what a beautiful. It's neat how like these towns like we talked about a couple weeks ago with the Maryland Cycling Classic. Baltimore's got this one little patch of just beautiful cobblestones in Fells Point, and so we've got to go through there, and it's the same deal. Like these some of these towns, they're not covered in cobblestones like some of the places in Belgium and stuff like that. So where the cobblestones are, the race goes through. It's often in front of the quaint old downtown part of whatever it is we're talking about anyway. So yeah, really cool, very cool climb. Um, let's see. So at the finish, Royce has destroyed Anna van der Breggen by 51.89 seconds. Um, and Vollering from 1 to 2 kind of shit the bed because she was less than a second behind Royce at intermediate one. She is now down 28.63 to Royce at intermediate two.
Yeah. And then
That's,
the last climb completely shoot her up.
mhm. And you can see that Royce she's just got the bigger engine. I think Anna van der Breggen is, excuse me, Demi Vollering is comparative to Pogacar, that we'll be obviously getting into. Um,
I thought these
in
races were
that
very similar.
like, yeah, Poggy needs steep climbs. He needs a steep climbing TT to do really really well. Um, and that is not this one was not quite steep enough, and I think that sort of shows you why Vollering was not able to get closer than she did. Um, let's see. So you had Anna Henderson looking good. Brody Chapman's finishing. She kind of finished in like a virtual third, but she still had Henderson and Vollering out on the course, who looked to be definitely going to beat them. Niedermeyer's there or thereabouts. Uh, one note I had here is like watching Henderson when she was heading up that final climb. Like at one point, just was almost stopped. Like that thing was nasty, and especially when you're talking about this kind of length for this TT, and it is a longer TT, so they've been maximum output for 40 minutes or whatever before they get to this climb. One can imagine why she would just be
Completely
done,
gassed.
done gassed, right? Um, so yeah, so let's see. Lebu misses the podium. She arrives around 6th, and I think finishes 8th or ninth. Chloe Dygert is just pedaling squares up the climb, blowing up, totally dead. Although I do think she squeaked into ninth place in the end. Um, One thing that drove me crazy is, and we saw this in some other race recently, where the graphic as the person is coming into the time check or into the finish line, it would show like Anna van der Breggen, like the winning, the current first place and what that time is with the number 1 next to it. And then it would show the rider that we're watching on screen. It would show the green turning to the red, the positive to the negative time or whatever, but no information about, as of now she's in second, and now she's in third, and now she's in fourth. Like when you watch the Tour de France or all these other
Yes,
races,
it
shows
ticks them
the
down.
name. It shows the name of each person that they're falling behind, and like nothing here. Even though at the same time they didn't have that, but they had that little like one-on-one cam thing that they would do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Where they would like do a split screen and the two riders, and they would show you like the real time like
Yes, and it was it
differential.
was like across,
Right.
like you had one rider on one side and then a little strip across the bottom with their times,
Right. And in the middle
which
though,
is great. Yeah, yeah, and the
it
differential in the
showed
middle,
like the positive or the
right?
negative. Yeah.
Well, and what's crazy about that is that where's that in all the other races? That's a great split when you got two riders on the course.
Right, right. Yeah, I think we were talking about it a little bit, like with how impressed we were with the Maryland Cycling Classic. It's like they had we were talking about how they would just keep the names of all the guys in
In
the
the
group that
breakaway.
you were watching, like
Yeah.
just on the screen the whole time. It wouldn't pop up and then go away. Like it's like let's get all of this stuff. I don't care how crowded my cycling screen is. You know what I mean?
But
Like
I don't
if
feel like in any case those were over that I've ever felt that the screen was overcrowded with information.
No, and my point is like I would be perfectly happy to have all of the stuff, all of the good graphics that all the different broadcasts use, put them all together in one. Let's
Yeah.
have the permanent leaderboard. Let's have the time differentials for every rider, whatever it is. And they can also like sometimes you'll notice like in some of these broadcasts, like you'll be watching, it'll be active, you'll have information on the screen, and then it'll cut to like a wide helicopter shot, and you might still be watching the race, but like all the graphics drop off,
Yes.
which is cool. And let us see like a nice pretty shot, and then boom, back to the action, all the graphics back on. We need the information. Wake up, broadcast companies. Um,
Well, I think it shows you that a lot of the people that are doing this, making these decisions aren't really watching cycling.
Probably. Probably. So in the end, Vanna Breggen maintains her second place, as Vollering is unable to pass her. Um, just makes it into the bronze position by the skin of her teeth.
It was dicey, man. She very well could have ended up in fourth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And poor thing, like she just is unable to keep the disappointment from showing on her face. Like you're watching the podium and you've got the great symmetry of Royce in the middle with the two orange duchies on either side, the two blonde duchies on either side, exact same height, exact same build, same uniform, everything. And Von der Breggen's just kind of like, whatever, it's second place. This is great, not great. I don't care. Like I'm just out here to race my bike. And Vollering is just sitting over there, just like this sucks so bad. You can just tell the poor thing. And just kind of interesting that all three of those women were basically together on the same team like a couple of years ago, and
Yes.
now all three of them are on different teams. But in this particular race, two of them are on the same team. Um, but not needing to work with each other because it's an ITT.
Right.
So interesting dynamics in there. You know what? I'm happy for Marlon Royce. She deserves it.
Hey, look, she's a racer, man.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been great to see what could have been. I mean, she's my what could have been for the year because I mean, obviously she, wrecked and didn't finish the tour. So it's
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah. She's also a specialist in this discipline, so it's nice when someone who puts in a lot of the hard work for it,
Oh,
gets their ju-
I
gets their
also think
just
that she
desserts.
definitely has a shot at taking the world championship this weekend.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it might end up a little bit too climby for her. Like I would think that she would have to be on absolutely amazing form. Um, I got my fingers crossed for Cassia, like so bad, so bad. But we'll get into that. Um, but yeah, and that rainbow jersey, man, so pretty,
Yep,
so pretty. Mm, just something
iconic.
about it. Something about it. Yeah, so let's get on to the men's unless you have anything else on the women's side.
No, no, I'm good.
Um, Men's side, it was exciting in one way because we got to see something that many people probably thought they would never see in their lifetime. But we'll
Yeah,
save that.
yeah, yeah. Save that for the end.
So one thing that I was loving was getting to listen to Rob Hatch on the call. The beautiful voice of Rob Hatch.
I couldn't get my Rob Hatch to work. I ended up spending the day with not Anthony McCrossan, who's the other guy,
Carlton McCurby. Carlton
Carlton
McCurby.
Kirby, and
Brian.
no, it was a woman. I can't. I don't. I wish I should have typed it in.
Um,
Yeah, but
I had Rob Hatch with Magnus Backstead, and that was fun. Um, so the men's course, 40.6 kilometers long, same indoor start at the BK Arena, same finish, up to Kimihurara. Um, and going into it, it was looking like it was going to be the Pog v Remco show. That was sort of what was on the bill for uh, for this thing, and it kind of turned out like that. But there was one huge surprise for the podium, and one confirmation of some really stellar form. So we'll get into it. I'm watching and I'm like, I bounced to the end. Um, but sort of interested to see how some of the young guys go. Seychelles, Vine, Del Toro are all going to be here, and these are the GC leaders of the future, probably
yes,
the very near future in some senses. And time trialing is a discipline that anyone who wants to be competitive in a GC, especially when we're talking about a Grand Tour, has got to be a competitive time trialist. And so I was interested to see how the likes of Paul Seychelles, Jay Vine, Isaac Del Toro would fare in this thing. But to, I think, a fairly big surprise, that the first like big time that we see out there is from Remco Evenepoel's teammate Ilan van Wilder.
It
Um,
crushes it.
Absolutely sets the course on fire. He destroys the current time by a minute 17. Now, of course, he's starting much earlier, so but he gets in the hot seat and stays there for quite some time,
Yeah.
as we would see. Let's see. So out in the the persons of interest here, of course, Pog and Remco, Von Wilder, Del Toro, Vine, yeah, Luke Plapp out there on course, Stefan Kuhn. Um, who else? Anybody else out there? I say Jay Vine. Yeah, Bruno Amarai. Um, so those are the players. Um, Plappy was looking good. I wanted to mention so Pogačar. I love the Slovenia green and blue. I think that just looks smooth. It's like my favorite. It's like my favorite NFL uniform, which is the Seattle Seahawks when they go all neon green with like dark blue, like royal blue numbers. Um, but that TT bike that Colnago has just looks weird.
Yeah.
That bar, where the thing
Everything
goes up,
looks so
we're supposed to go up to the
straight.
seat, but then
Yeah.
it's like it just it looks like it's heavy. Like that bike just looks like it's 1,000 pounds, which I'm sure it's
It's not.
feathered light pick it up, but it just looks like big and bulky. That whole like bottom end there. So
Yeah, it's
um
got a very strange looking frame and seat post. That combination just makes it look strange because it's so wide. It's so you know tall. I
mhm,
guess.
mhm. So basically
But with the wheels though, with the white on the wheel, the white
mhm,
lettering makes
mhm.
the wheels look white, so it looks
Yes.
super cool when they're riding it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Especially that front wheel. I love the way the front wheel looks too. Um, um, so Pog goes off second to last, and Remco is the overwhelming favorite, goes off last.
Correct.
And uh, Pog comes through the first time check, and he's basically equal on time to whoever it was that was at number one
I
through the
think it
first
was
one.
still Van Wilder's time.
Yeah, I don't know if he was. I think it might have been Jay Vine.
Oh,
I
you
think
know
Jay
what? It
Vine
probably was Jay Vine at
may have
that
set
point.
the
Yeah,
better
yeah,
time
yeah.
in interview. But and then Remco comes through, and he is up 44 seconds after intermediate one, and it's
So,
just like holy crap.
so real quick, let me roll back. The time that Jay Vine posts is unreal. Okay, first off, guy had a tremendous Welta and is now comes out and just puts the wood to this time trial.
Hmm.
Suited him really really well. He ate up both climbs really really well. Really really solid performance from Jay Vine for Australia. His teammate Lou Plack also had a really really strong ride, but I mean, come on, dude! Like his ride was unreal. So when you finally get to Pogacar and Evenepoel, Pogacar comes out just with a just complete killer instinct through those first few because once you come out of the stadium, there's a couple of quick turns, and
Little bends, yeah.
he just eats those turns up. And the way he kind of came out, you're like, oh shit, man, he is he's eye of the tiger, like ready to go. And when you see his first split, and you're like, oh, he has literally no time on anybody, you're like, oh, okay, interesting. You're assuming that you're going to see something similar out of Remco, and then you get what you just said. Remco at the first split is up. How many seconds did you say it was?
44 seconds.
44 seconds.
And
Which,
you contrast Pog's like opening little run through those twists and turns in the opening to Remco's, and like because I remember they were commenting on it in the commentary
yeah,
as well. At least my guys were, the way how Pog was just like so violently attacking, the absolute like opening meters of the race. Remco just rolled through there just smooth as silk. You know what I mean? He didn't look like it looked like he was already like into his tempo
Yes, he
and knew
didn't. He didn't.
exactly, and he
Pog was
just
like way out of the saddle, and he was basically into his TT. As soon as it got straight, he went into his TT position.
hmm hmm um and yeah, so by time check one, we're already like, okay, this is a formality here. Like, yeah, of course you can try to remain hopeful between now and time check two, um, but it's already looking like this is just going to be an absolute, slaughter. Um,
Well,
however,
and
go ahead.
Remco is Remco. This is his specialty. Period. Full stop. I don't give a shit what anybody says. This is what he's built for.
hmm
All right, on his own, on a bike, just him versus the clock. They're going off in 2.5 minute intervals, and he's made up almost half of that time by the second time check.
Yeah, yeah, and on that idea, I mean, Remco crashes out of the tour, and literally the next day, I guarantee you, he was on his TT bike with a laser focus on yesterday,
Yes.
on September 21 in Kigali, or 22 or whatever it was. Um, Tadej Pogacar, he's racing Grand Tours and gone to Canada, and he's got all kind of other stuff on his agenda. And I guarantee Remco probably spent 10 times as much time on his TT bike since from from the Tour de France until now. He's probably spent 10 times the amount of time on his TT bike than Pogacar did. And it shows. He's an absolute master of this discipline, for sure, in the conversation with as the best ever. Um,
I
you
mean,
know,
it's 3 world championships in a row. A couple of notes on Remco. Loved the. I don't know if they said it on your broadcast, but his helmet has actual gold leaf laid onto it.
and what better way than to say "fuck you, poor people"? Remember that? Did I ever tell you that joke?
No.
There's a David Cross joke where he's like, so I'm being wined and dined by these studio executives one time, and they took me out to dinner to this fancy restaurant, and the dessert comes out, and get this, it's got gold leaf on it that's just like edible. It's just like you just like eat the gold. And I'm looking at this dessert and thinking to myself, what better way than to say "fuck you, poor people"?
But he had like actual gold in his helmet to represent for his
Gold
gold
medal, his
medals.
Olympic gold
Yeah,
medal.
his Olympic gold medals. And when he comes across, he gives the German three, or what is
Yeah.
it?
Well, he
Yeah.
goes like this. He goes one, two,
Oh yeah.
three, and then he changes to this and then salutes with it.
Yes.
Um, yeah. So we ended up
Oh
with Rem.
yeah. We're also burying the lead too. That obviously Remco ends up winning. The crazy part that happens, and what makes this, in my opinion, probably the most interesting time trial of the year, is the fact that Remco catches Pogacar, and
Yeah.
you know, it becomes this, especially that like right before he caught him, like will he, won't he moment of, is he going to go ahead and just bury Pogacar, or is he going to, because it almost looked like he backed off a little bit once he saw Pogacar, and it's like he was measuring, can I get ahead of him enough to beat him so that I get my moment on the line, and it's not me and Pogacar on the line of this time trial where I don't want him to be anywhere near me. And he ends up catching him and putting him away. And that's 2.5 minutes he made up on Pogacar. All right, this isn't 1 minute. This isn't 2 minutes. This is 2.5 minutes. All right, we're
Yeah.
talking
On the greatest
100.
of all time,
Yeah,
on a somewhat
150
climbing
seconds.
course.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Pogacar was clearly not on good form. He said as much in his
Hmm.
interview that going to Canada and everything um, was not ideal preparation. I mean, you're gonna lose days of training when you're flying internationally and stuff like that. So, um, but honestly, he's eaten a lot of humble pie here, but he was total class in his interview. gave full props to Remco, said how incredibly good he is, and that it kind of hurt to get past like that, and I mean that will be one of the lasting images of this entire season is Remco riding past Pog up a cobbled climb with 2 kilometers to go in the World Championships, no less, on the biggest stage in the world,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he just
yeah, yeah.
blew past him. Um, you have to say it's one of the Remco's best
Oh my
performances of
God,
his
yes.
already stellar, iconic time trialing
I
career.
want, but it makes me want to see him win a big, GC battle, just because. Here's a guy that like he's proven time and time again that he can win on his own. I want to see him win with the team. I I am rooting, especially considering how critical I was of Remco earlier this year. I am absolutely rooting for him to have success at Red Bull. I hope that it absolutely does work out for him there. I really, really do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm super excited for that. So we had Jay Vine in second place. This guy's ITT capabilities um, here, combined with his overall performance at the Vuelta, is just like more fuel for my argument that he should be a GC leader somewhere. Like this guy
Very
is
likely.
he's the real deal, and give him a shot. You know what I mean? Um, because he can win stages, and if he can win stages, then he can also very likely stay in touch in a GC battle. Um, and with the TT like the one that he just put in, given the right parkour, the right situation, Grand Tour situation, he could be on a podium, 100%.
I could see a like Jayco trying to catch him up on his next contract. You know what I mean? Those guys like to circle the wagons with the Australian guys.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jay Vine on Jayco.
Jay Vine on
J
Jay, yeah.
Jayco, Jay Vineco,
Well,
and then you had
and they have the kid that did so well in the Volta the year before. Why can't I think of his name?
Ben
Ben
O'Connor.
O'Connor. Thank you.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
other
yeah.
Ben. So yeah,
And then on third we had Ilan von Wilder out of nowhere. Von Wilder comes up
yeah.
third.
Two
So
Belgians on the podium.
you had two Belgians and two Soudal Quicksteppies
Yes.
um, on there. So Remco shouted him out in his post race interview.
So one of the things that I wondered is, do you think that he benefited from training with Remco?
How could you not?
I mean, that's my theory on why he did so well is that Remco's laser focus like rubbed off, and he knew that climb and has been trading with him probably for the last however many 10 days.
And
And
he's also on the same TT setup as the greatest TT
yes,
rider of all time. So that's certainly going to help.
hmm so
And Remco mentions that he was joining the three in a row World Championship winners. He said Tony and Michael. I assume he's talking about Tony Martin, the guy from Germany that retired a few years ago. I don't know who the Michael is though.
do you
Um,
know who he was like motioning to on the podium? Did you see him?
no, no,
That he was like trying to get somebody to come out, but they wouldn't do it.
yeah, I was hoping to see that, but no. So, and he mentioned that he's like, next year I want to go 4 in a row. I want to be the only guy to go 4 in a row. So,
That'll be interesting.
I certainly would not put it past him
No,
at
not at
all.
all. Barring injury, yeah, I think it's a pretty good bet.
It was a 65th career win, pretty insane for a guy as young as he is. Um, but I think let's give the last word to Tadej Pogacar. He said, I hope he prepared 100% for this race and only prepares 99% for next weekend. Nice little quote there. So, with that, we're gonna sign off on the ITT review, and we'll get into some our predictions for the road races and a little bit more cycling action as well. Stay with us. Don't miss Beyond the Slipstream, our weekly companion podcast to the Team Bus, our domestique, if you will, dropping every Saturday in your usual podcast feed. All right, we are back, and we're going to talk road race preview on the women's side. we have 11 laps of a 13.6 kilometer course for a total distance of 164.6 kilometers. And it will include all of the major stuff, the Kimihurara, et cetera, et cetera. Similar to the course of Rwanda, the Tour of Rwanda course that we were talking about in the last segment. So the bookmaker's favorite for this race is Pauline Ferrand-Prévot. She has an incredible team around her: Labous, Carabal, Musique, Lene, and Mavis Squeebans. Remember her?
Mm-hmm.
Mavis, Mava,
Mava.
Mava Squeebans. So that is a powerhouse French team right there. And we all know that PFP knows how to dial in an effort for a big day, how to peak on a big day.
Yes, yes, she does.
She didn't just win the Tour de France this year. She also took Paris-Roubaix.
It'd be crazy if she somehow pulls this off.
Right. She wins one of the biggest spring classics. She wins the Tour de France, and then she wins the World Championship road race. That would be crazy, crazy town. And I don't believe she did the ITT, right?
What? Oh no, I don't think she wrote it either. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I was like, wait, what? Okay.
So
no, I don't think she did.
So she won't have that in her legs like Roysa and Vollering will. Not that that would necessarily matter all that much. So Vollering's second favorite. And the Dutchies, of course, have a super strong team. Voss, Royak. I think I just saw on PCS that Voss is out for the World Championship. So they've got Royackers, Castelline, Van Anrooy, and Anna van der Breggen. That's super strong to support Demi. And yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I think that's going to be a great match. Vollering versus Pauline Ferrand-Prévot.
Mm-hmm.
With sprinkle a little of the third favorite into the mix, Eliza Longa Borghini. This is her 14th time racing the World Championships. She's gotten the bronze medal 3 times. That's it. But she is clever, very strong, fully capable of winning this race. Let's hope she's on good form.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all going to come down to form for her.
She's one of those up or down types. I feel like when she's strong, she's really strong, but when she's not, she's like just kind of nowheresville. Kim LaCour, not a strong team, obviously. We're talking about Mauritius, but she is very strong individually. We saw her performance this summer in the Tour de France. She's no slouch. She will be a threat for sure.
She needs to stay with that main group.
Yeah.
No matter what, she needs to stay with those guys. You know what I mean? That's the one thing about these smaller teams in these world championship situations is that they don't have a lot of support around them. She needs to lean on other teams as much as she possibly can to kind of shepherd her, to that final, whatever that final move is.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because her strength will be in a sprint. What she wants is like she wants a small bunch sprint at the end of that thing, because I'm pretty sure it's going to end the same way up that climb and then left turn down to the finish line. And then next is Cassia, and boy would I love it. This parkour looks really good for her capabilities. As long as she doesn't revert back to her old ways and put in some attack with like 1.2 Ks to go and burn herself out by 600 meters as everybody else blows past her. She needs to hang in there.
I'm gonna dark horse for Slovenia with one Urska. I don't know. I don't think this really suits her, but boy, that'd be cool.
She will not be podiuming this race. Maybe she will. I doubt it.
I doubt it as well, but it would be awesome.
Yeah. Marlon Roysa for the Swiss, obviously looking great after her ITT performance, and she's got Elise Chabet and Noemi Rug, who are also
She's a
very,
major threat
very
in
strong
my
riser.
opinion. I think she will
Yeah.
be with that final group, whatever that shapes up to be. I think she's going to be there in the mix.
Mm, mm. I think so too. Um, and then who else? Chloe Dygert's the only USA rider. I don't see her really having any kind of chance of,
Not against this field.
yeah, not in this, and not on this parkour either. Um, and so this is the thing that I find insane. Great Britain is not sending any women to the road race championship. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
None. Like no Anna Henderson, no um, Cat Cat Fergie. Like
Makes no
weird.
sense.
Um, they said they're choosing to focus on their U23. I don't know. It's very strange. All right, you want to make a prediction? You want to give me your podium?
Royce Vollering in another bronze for ELB if she stays all the way through the race.
I'm going to say Ferran Prevot, Vollering, Roysa.
Ooh, I like that one too.
So, all right, the men. Uh,
Some big names in this. Big names.
267.5 kilometers. So, really interesting the way they do this course. 15 laps of the circuit. Um, they do it 9 times. Then they go outside of the course and they do these two big iconic climbs. The Cote de Péage, which is 1.8 kilometers long, average grading of 5.9, max of 9, and then Mont Kigali, 5.9 kilometers long, average grading of 6.9, and maxes at 20. The final,
Wow.
yeah, the final 0.9 kilometers hits pitches of 20%, and I think the average for the last 0.9 kilometers is like 12% or something stupid. Um,
That's got Pogacar written all over it.
right, but it's kind of like a little more than halfway through the race. There's a whole lot of race after that, so it kind of keeps it interesting.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, that's where Pogacar makes his move and puts his distance in, and he could bury people on that climb, and he's good enough on his own that he could do another whatever. What's left after
100
that? Yeah, yeah,
kilometer
100.
100 plus
I mean,
kilometer solo
he's done
breakaway.
it before.
Wow. Wow, that would be really, really boring. Um, let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, and
But I
then
mean, look,
and then they go back onto the circuit after that, 7 more laps. The circuit itself has got two main climbs: Cote de Kigali Gold, that's 800 meters long at 8%, and then the Cote de Kimihurara, as we've discussed at length on this podcast already, cobbled 1.3 kilometer climb, averages 6.5%. It ends a kilometer before the finish. Then it goes downhill for like 300 meters, and then it's a endless 700-meter uphill climb to the finish, just over 5%. So if there is a group heading into that final climb, it is going to be nuts.
yes,
Like
okay.
that will be so incredible if there is like 6 dudes at the foot of that climb together.
Well,
Oh
here's the
man.
thing. Here's the thing. That does not suit Pogacar. All
Mm-mm.
right. If he wants this thing, he almost has to do what we just said because that ending does not suit him in the
Yeah, it's
least.
not steep enough.
No,
It's
it's
nowhere near
not.
steep enough. It'll just be MSR all over again.
Yes, 100%.
Or honestly, Quebec.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. So your big hitters in this race, you've obviously got Remco, you've got Pogacar, Jai Hindley, Jay
Well,
Vine. All
yeah.
right. Both of whom I think have a really, really good shot at this. I think it suits both of them very, very well, especially Jay Vine, considering how good he's looked in the last, 4 weeks.
Yes.
Uh,
And he's gonna have listen to this squad: Storer,
Yep.
Clapp, Hindley, Matthews, and Harper.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That is a strong team.
Um, you got Carapace will be there. Skelmos.
Yeah, but Carapaz is flying solo.
Yes, he'll
No
have to do
team.
the same thing. He'll have to do the same thing that the girl from Mauritius is going to have to do.
Yeah, and you know what? He's an absolute threat. He knows how to maintain his composure in huge races. Yeah, he's a major threat. Who
Skelmoza, you will have there.
No Mads on that Danish team.
No,
Mads decided that this course is just too much climbing for him.
it doesn't
But
make sense for Mads.
as we'll be discussing later, Skelmos is displaying some fine form right now as
Yes,
well.
yes. So that's definitely a dark horse in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And
Who else you want to talk about?
I know that he has been doing specific training for this because he was training with Quinn Simmons in the U.S. prior to the Maryland Cycling Classic. So they have been, doing some high altitude climbing in preparation for this.
Noise. Who else you like?
Egan Bernal's going to be in the mix. You're going to have Biniam, Lulu, and Paul Seychelles will all be there. Ciccone, Del Toro. You got some big hitters.
Yeah, let's see. Who'd you say? Ciccone, Del Toro?
Ciccone, Del Toro, Paul
Trying to see if
Seychelles.
Oh yeah. So do you Del Toro is the number 2 overall favorite behind Pogacar for this race. Assuming like that's all on the strength of all these one day races he's
Well, his
won,
form right now is just absolutely ridiculous.
right, but he's also going to have to freelance this entire race.
Yes.
And I think, I like a Carapaz better in this situation
Yes,
than
I
I do
agree.
a Del Toro, just because it's in Africa. He's going to be on his own. Um, all of the biggest names in the world are going to be there. Like it's
Again, it goes back to the he's going to have to get in there and stay in there and just hope to God that, he can do enough to stay in whatever group those guys are in.
yeah, yeah. So our number 1 contender, Tadej Pogacar, has got Mahoric, Metzgetz, Novak, and Primoz Roglic on his squad. And there's no doubt in my mind that Roglic will be working for Pogacar 100%. So the strongest rider in the world has got a really strong team with him.
Very strong team.
And then, go ahead.
I was going to say, let's talk Americans when you're ready.
Well, no, let's get into some Remco first. He's third. He's third favorite, but he's basically on par with Del Toro. And I think that's a way underrated. I would have Del Toro much further down. I would have Remco second for sure.
Oh, I think Remco wants this one too. I think he after
just like he did in the Olympics.
Yeah, I think he wants this one
Wants
too,
them both.
big time. And after such a statement win in this week's race in the TT, I just he's a fire in the belly guy, and I think he's going to come in here just with the fires completely stoked.
Yeah, I mean, Del Toro is never really proven himself on a race of this length with this kind of climbing. And then you got Remco, who won the world champion road race in Australia, same kind of distance and parkour. And he's also won LBL twice, which is basically super incredibly long and lots of nasty climbs. So pair that with the insane strength of the team with Campenaerts, Benoot. No, I think Benoot's out now. I just read that. But Odebrooks, Van Wilder, Kenton Hermans, Florian Vermeersch, and that guy Maurice. Very strong.
Yeah.
Very strong team. So it's once again, I really think it's going to be the Pog versus Remco show here.
I'm hoping that Lulu gets in the mix with this one too.
Yeah, it'd be
so
amazing
great if somehow Lulu and Paul Seychelles keep themselves in it towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh,
Hmm.
ugh.
You've also got
I can only hope.
you've also got one Tom Pidcock. Um, Good form coming out of the Vuelta where he got third place. I would love to see this man win. He'll have Oscar Onley, who's had a stellar, career-defining season this year. Plus Fred Wright and what's his name, Richie Blackmore.
Yeah, and he's been
Um,
on good form of recent too.
or is Richie Blackmore like the guitarist for some hair metal band from the '80s? Is it Joey Blackmore? Joey Blackmore? Um, yeah, yeah. You got Ben Healy in the mix on this one. He was looking pretty good in Luxembourg. I would say this course definitely suits him for a long range attack.
Yes, that's and therein lie. By the way, therein lies the wild card on this race: a long range attack.
Hmm.
You know, two or three riders getting out in front of this group you could see a breakaway win. Totally.
There's also several guys in here who are capable of doing this solo style, not just
Yes,
Pogacar,
and
but
he's one of them.
Jay Vine.
Jay
But
Vine, or
um,
and Ben Healy. Ben Healy
yeah,
is a
Ben
perfect
Healy.
candidate for that.
Even a guy like a Carapaz. Um, so then you got for Spain, you got basically I would say Juan Ayuso, and he'll have Soler, Verona, Adria, Romeo, and Garcia Pierna racing for him. Um, he just won two stages of two Grand Tour stages. I mean, like, what could he do? He's capable of doing that kind of length.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great race. My God, this is gonna be such a good race. And then yeah, you want to get on to the Americans.
Yeah, so we have six riders in total. Will Barta,
Hmm.
Luke Lamperti, the ever controversial Quinn Simmons, Kevin Vermark, Leap and Larry Warbass, and Magnus Sheffield. And I think
Um,
out of this group, a Quinn Simmons probably is your best bet because he's been
yeah,
pushing all of his prep towards this.
I think in the absence of Brandon McNulty, that
Yes.
is correct. But I don't think McNulty would have been able to compete on this course as well as Quinn. Honestly, I don't know. Um, but hey,
Well,
fingers crossed.
and he's got the sting of the third place a couple weeks ago. So,
Hmm.
I don't know. I think
Yeah, he's been having a great season.
watch
Anything
out for
could
Quinn
happen.
Simmons. Yeah.
Anything could happen. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think that's everybody. Lulu, as we were talking about, he's got Sivakov, he's got Seychelles, Madawas, Valentin Paripantra, and Louis Barre. And I'm wondering why Roman Gregoire is not on that squad after a stellar two-stage wins at Luxembourg.
It's
Um,
probably just too much. It's probably the same reason McNulty's not going.
yeah, yeah. Nonetheless, that looks like a good team. And oh man,
Yeah,
Lulu back
can't
in the
wait.
Rainbow Bands. Can you
Yeah, it'll be
imagine?
crazy.
Out of nowhere, he gets his third instead of Remco. All right, um, let's make our picks.
All right. Man, this is tough. I'm gonna go I'm gonna go Remco. Simmons, Pogacar.
Simmons.
I don't know. I'm
Oh,
just gonna throw it out there. It's gonna put some goodness in the universe. I want to see an American on the podium.
I like it. I'm gonna go Remco, Pog, Pitcock.
Ooh, that's a good one. It was tough. It was tough not to throw Lulu in the mix,
I know.
but
But
I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Is it's not happening.
Yeah.
All right. Um, that is our preview of the 2025 World Championship road races coming up this coming weekend. And we're going to move on to a chat about the Tour of Luxembourg, where we were just talking about him. American Brandon McNulty walked away with the overall GC win on the strength of 0 stage wins for his team UAE Emirates, but they got it done to
Yes,
get the win.
but and we're going to talk a little bit more about this team in in Beyond the Slipstream, but in getting the GC win, an American seals the 86th victory for Team UAE to take the total overall wins for a single season for a team at 86.
That is correct. And do you think it's weird that like GC wins are considered in these tallies? Because it's not like an actual win of a race on a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's still considered a win. I mean,
Yeah, it's a
it's the
prize. It's
overall win.
right.
You know what I
I
mean?
know. I know. But like getting the green jersey, that wouldn't count as a win, would it?
I don't think so. No.
It's only GC win. So it's just I don't
Yeah,
know.
but
It
it's the
seems like
overall race winner.
I get it. I'm just saying. It seems like I would have thought that the more coveted record would just be actual wins of races on the day, be they stages, one days, whatever. You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
go. It sounds like I got a stats corner to break down.
Yes, there you go. Please, by all means, if you want to provide those numbers for this podcast, I'm here for it. Um, yeah, so Tour of Luxembourg, on stage one, we saw the emergence of Mr. Roman Gregoire from Groupama. Um, this guy was on fine form. He bookended this race, as we'll get into on stage five, was it?
Mm-hmm.
But he puts in an incredible sprint here. Uh, 300 meters to go, and he just barreling ahead. And Marijn Vandenberg just cannot come around. He was right on his wheel the entire time, and just could not find that little extra couple of watts to push past him.
The only person that seemed to be able to hang with him this whole week was Ben Healy on the last stage.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
And even then, he ended up burying Ben Healy in the end.
Yeah, he was just on some incredible form. That was just an amazing effort. 300 meters, and nobody gets past him. Um, So I did want to mention the like gorgeous portrait mode photography that we were getting in this race. Like they had some great shots in the post race where it was you'd hear the commentators talking and they'd be that kind of portrait mode, almost like looking like a slow mo, but not. Um, Amazing. Uh, let's see. Yeah. So and then here she snuck in on third past the sleeping Del Grosso from Alpecin. Uh, and what a gorgeous race too, by the way. Like
Yeah, I have some notes when we get to stage 3.
yeah, the Luxembourg environs gorgeous.
Yeah,
Stage two, we got the Luxembourg national team winner Mathieu Kokelman. Um, on the sprint, Vandenberg was looking for some redemption
he
from the
just
day
caught
before.
everybody sleeping. This guy just blew everybody out. Um,
No, he didn't blow everybody out. What happened is Marijn Vandenberg was like, I'm gonna do what Gregoire did yesterday to me. I'm gonna make my move with 300 meters to go and see if I can hold on the entire time. And he faded with like 15 meters to go, and three dudes came past him right at the very end. And this Kockelman guy was the one in the front. It's got to be a huge win.
I have a note in here. At one point on with 8K to go, they're going downhill at 90 plus kilometers an hour.
Good
They were
Lord.
going 55 miles per hour down the hill.
That's crazy.
Can you believe that?
I would
Like
be I would be so scared.
they showed the moto at like 92, 93, 94 kilometers an hour. It was crazy. And they were going faster than the moto. So they are like 55, 56 miles an hour.
Crazy.
Crazy is an understatement.
So on stage three, this was such a cool stage.
Yes.
literally finished inside of a castle. Like they literally rode through the castle gate and inside the castle walls to the finish. Although I was surprised to see just how soon after riding through that last like stone gate the finish line was. It was like another like 15 meters was right there. So like if you're not first going through that gate, you're not going to win.
It was also like a production seeming nightmare because it was hard for them to get really good shots because
Yeah.
they had like a really crazy overhead on this. So, um, real quick, I want to mention so they're ending in Vanden, all right, and that
Mhm.
castle is the Vanden Castle,
Right.
all right, and it was defended against the Waffen SS by members of the Luxembourg resistance against the Nazi occupation.
I love it.
Yeah. And there was another crazy thing on this. I don't know if you saw it. 150 meters. Did you see who was on the race course?
Did I see Dee the Devil?
Dee Dee the Devil.
Dee the Devil came up at the end and like was like up in the camera like yeah la, 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 la. Like he like said something. He got major exposure and then he makes another appearance in this race. You know about the
I
other
missed. I
appearance?
obviously missed this.
Oh
Missed the next appearance, but I was completely blown away because I don't remember seeing him at the tour.
no, I don't either. I maybe we did, but I don't
I
recall it. But
definitely remember mentioning that we had not seen him yet.
well, they had somebody standing with a camera like on a little rock outcropping or something like that right there as the riders were coming up to just before they went through that gate, and like Dee was right across the street in front of this cameraman. It
Yeah.
was just like front and center, real big. Um, yeah, that was funny. Um, so 6.7 kilometers to go. Mark Hershey strikes out on a solo breakaway and he gets it like this tiny little gap that wavers between like 5 and 10 seconds basically. And and he stays in front till 250 meters to go and then gets washed. What a shame. I love Mark Hershey. And like that is that is a long time to just be dangling 5 seconds in front of the chasing pack and still be holding them off. I could not believe as he was going through 1K to go that the dude was still in front of this group and looking strong and kind of gauging his effort and like wow. But that was not to be. You got this gradual uphill leading to this Vianden castle, and then as we said, it literally enters the castle gate. Um, that final cobbled climb is like 900 meters long,
Yeah.
average of 9.5,
Straight uphill.
maxes out 22.1.
Up the pave.
Insane.
Yeah.
So Tom Scoins is the hero of the day. He puts in a huge effort from like 700 to 500 meters to go, and he's the one that catches Mark Hirschi. And instantaneously, McNulty and Skelly are on the pursuit. And Skelly is the one that manages to come around. Brandon McNulty sort of hanging there for a second, and then all of a sudden McNulty's gone because what's his name?
Jordan Jagat.
Jordan Jagat comes flying through, and had it not been for the weirdness of that finish where they had to squeeze through this gate and then the finish line's like right there, if that was just wide open with the
Yeah.
speed that
Jagat probably
Jagat
would have
was
caught
coming
him.
with, yeah, it could have been a photo for
Yeah.
sure. But Skelly hangs on, and Hershey ends up getting sixth. So yeah, right after the finish, Didi like comes right up to the camera and just like screams something in French, and he's got his whole face like in the frame of the shot.
I gotta
That
go
was
back
so
and
great.
watch that.
So um, I thought it was funny how Skelmos mentioned in his interview um, that he was he was going into the race leader's jersey, which honestly looks really good with the Lidl Trek kit.
Yes, it
Um,
does.
but he said that having it for the ITT, which is the next day, kind of sucks because, like as we know, the skin suits that are provided by the race organizers,
Not
for the
nearly as good as
leaders,
the ones that
not
they
nearly
do
as
from their
good as
team.
their
Yeah.
their custom fit team suits. So, anyways, ITT is the next day, stage 4, 26.1 kilometers, rolling hills, 435 meters of elevation gain. Um, and Skelly is just looking absolutely ridiculous in the yellow skin suit with like this super high white socks. Um, McNulty doing well. Hayter, Jagat, they're all in the mix there. And we got a win from Soudal Quickstep's Ethan Hayter.
Yep. Smokes him. Had a great ride.
Yeah, McNulty finishes second here, but he's 27 seconds back.
Yeah. And Healy third.
I think McNulty was probably okay with only finishing second that far behind because
he went into the race lead anyway.
Right, and after he finished, his smoking hot girlfriend was there to rub his back gently.
Did
so
notice that.
He was doing just fine.
Yeah, he's doing okay.
Ben Healy finishes in a very impressive third. Skelly, 10th, loses a jersey to McNutty. Stage 5, the final stage of the race, and Gregoire does his bookend with a awesome win on the, what was it, the Pabierberg. So let's see, the 3 riders off the front, 13.4 kilometers to go. Healy and Gregoire and a Kern Pharma guy, Venzel. Nasty weather, and they're making a little left hairpin turn, and Venzel, his tire like slips out just for a tiny second, but because it's so wet, and because it's like on this downhill, it's like he can never catch up with those two again.
Nope.
Just the tiniest little thing, and he's done. So those guys are out in front, basically Healy and Gregoire. McNulty and the rest of the leaders are about 40 seconds behind, and going hard to try to catch those two. And it becomes one of those will they, won't they kind of situations.
Yep.
Gregoire, of course, wants it to come down to a sprint because he is unquestionably the better sprinter. Healy needs to do Ben Healy things and drop Gregoire on the climb and get away from him. Great work from UAE, keeping McNulty safe. You had Micah, Narvaez omnipresent on the front. And with 3.5 kilometers to go, Healy is still together with Roman Gregoire heading into the Pabe Airberg 10% average for around 800 meters. They get to the steep part of the climb. Healy comes to the front and is going hard, and Gregoire appears to be just easily sitting on his wheel up the hardest part of the climb, and you're just kind of like, oh yeah, he's gonna take this. He's gonna be fresh as a daisy when they get to the sprint. But they never get to the sprint because Roman Gregoire puts in an attack himself immediately after Healy kind of takes it down a half a notch.
Sat back and that was it.
Yeah, Gregoire attacks 1.2 kilometers to go, puts him a little distance, and Healy's now just kind of 2 or 3 seconds behind him. But there's less than a kilometer left in this race. Healy is going as hard as he possibly can, and the foreshortening of the front-on camera shot makes you almost think like, wait, he might get there. But when you see the overhead shot, Gregoire handily beats him by like 5 or 6 bike lengths. However, Healy gets himself up into 6th place overall with that fine effort, which is pretty impressive. McNulty almost wins the sprint for 3rd among the GC leaders, but gets pipped, but doesn't matter because he secures the overall GC win. UAE get their 60, what was it? Or their 86th
win.
86th win. Yet another GC win for a 2025 stage race. Skelly walks away not unhappy, 2nd place plus the white jersey, and Carapaz in 3rd. So both of those guys will be participating in the World Championships as we discussed in our last segment, and they're both clearly on form.
Yep.
Which bodes oh so well. Appearing on stage at the final podium presentation, Didi the Devil.
I didn't even notice.
If you stayed tuned for the final podiums, Didi the Devil was on stage.
Wow. All right, definitely going back to watch the both of those.
Yeah. So, good stuff. I love that race, and I want to go to Luxembourg. I'm like, holy cow, it's so gorgeous, and it'd be nice to
Stunning.
say that I've been to a Grand Duchy, as they mentioned multiple times on the call, the Grand Duchy, the world's only remaining Grand Duchy, Luxembourg. All right, well, that's kind of taking us up towards the end of our time here. So let's put a pin in this. And when we come back, we will get into the Grand Prix, the Wallonie men's and women's, and we'll take a ride in the Broom Wagon. So stay tuned. All right, we're back, and we're just going to have a little bit of chat about the two uh, Belgian late season classics, the Grand Prix de Wallonie. We had a women's and men's race. On the women's side, a name that I'm not super familiar with taking the sprint win, Shari Basoit from AG Insurance Sudal, ahead of Caroline Swinkles and Elisa Balsamo, who looked so good for this finish and then just didn't have it at all in the legs. Yeah. Do you have anything to say about this race?
I mean, I love these late season Wallonie region races. I can tell you that. I love how they look.
Mhm.
I love how it just has a very classics feel to it. Um, so I too did not know anything about Cherie, and so her previous best results were a second on the GC and a second on a stage in the Lotto Tour of Belgium in 2022. Huge win for her. It was great to see. Great to see. But I felt the same way. I really felt Balsamo was formidable in this, and just wasn't there in the end. And she was able to hold everybody off and take a pretty a pretty good race win for a rider that has not had a ton of success throughout her career.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was an exciting sprint, but I don't know. That race is almost just doesn't exist in my mind anymore. I was far more excited about the men's race, that had the likes of Tim Wellens, Arnaud Delis, Beniam Girmay, Anthony Turgis,
Timo Kielik.
Lafay, yeah, Timo Kielik. So uh, was very much looking forward to this one. 187 kilometers, kind of a hilly Ardennes style course, some cobblestones. Um, the breakaways are all neutralized by like 15 Ks to go, and there's a huge group leading into the final kilometers over the cobbles. Um, Final climb, you got Wellens, Delis, and Girmay on the front. Um, Victor Lafay puts in a cheeky move, 2.4 Ks to go, gets a really nice gap on the bunch. Uh, he was doing the Primoz Roglic and going no socks.
I also I thought he was going to
I
do
did.
the unlike Primo's thing and win the race.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Unlike Primoz lately. Um, an amazing finishing climb. This like beautiful like stone wall. There's like these ancient bridges they're going across. Um, Dylan Toons tries to catch up to Lafay, and then Keelich passes Toons and catches Lafay with like 300 meters to
Mm-hmm.
go. Um, but just then, the rest of the bunch is coming up behind as well. And Arnaud Delis, thermonuclear, he blows past everyone. Um,
It was a
uh,
sweet move too. He like faded he was like pretty much dead center, like third, fourth, maybe fifth wheel, and he fades hard to the left. And just like it was like he was like swing and then hit the gun and you know ended up blowing by and like kind of swaying back into the lead. He kind of went left and then swung back right and took it. And I mean, this dude has looked so good since the tour.
it's crazy. It's crazy. And this is a home race for him. He's from Wallonia. And it's like I was saying about him last week or the week before, like this dude has got bike racing in his DNA. I mean, when he wants to be, when he has the form, he can be an absolute assassin. Like his mental game is very strong. You know what I mean?
Um,
Even though he's a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve, I feel like, and has been fairly, public about his struggles in the past and stuff like that, and allowed us to watch his frustration play out. Um, when it comes to the cold calculations that must be made, the split second decisions that have to be made at the end of a bunch sprint, like this guy's right up there with the best of them.
yeah. Well, you know, it makes me. I feel a bit vindicated about where I was at with him going into the Tour de France. I think that you kind of gave me a little shit about Arnaud Delis, possibly being an outsider, for a stage win in the Tour de France. And I think, given his current form, like he absolutely probably could have won. And I think he did. He came close on
Yeah,
the stage in the Tour.
if he could have found a way to peak a little earlier this year,
Yeah.
because he is absolutely peaking right now.
Well, he's been on fire the last like since the
Month.
tour. Yeah, I mean this is like this whole month since the tour. He's been on fire, winning all over the place.
Hmm. Hmm. So we had, I think, Gourmet in second and Emilien Genier in third.
Hmm.
Um, which I like to see Biniam in decent form like that. Hopefully that bodes well for his prospects at the World Championships this
I
weekend. But
also think that one thing that we didn't kind of comment on earlier when we were talking about the World Championships with Biniam. I think this does suit him, and the fact that this race is on African soil, I think is going to play a big part in him wanting
that's
to win.
that's definitely the X factor for
Yeah,
sure.
huge.
Like that would be
I mean, like,
huge.
well, I mean, and I could just see him just completely emptying every possible tank
For
into
sure.
trying to win this race.
Yeah, agreed. Well, I'm beside myself with excitement for it, even though, as I mentioned earlier to you off mic, uh, I will not be watching those races live. In fact, oh shoot, I don't even know when I'm going to watch them. Come to think of it, because we might have to change our recording schedule.
Just we could go later on Monday.
Yeah, yeah, we might have to be Monday evening.
We can make that
Um,
work.
all right, we'll talk about it. Nonetheless, anything else to say about the Grand Prix de Wallonie,
No, I really don't have anything else to say
won
about it.
by Arnaud Delis? All right, cool. Well, we will cap it there, and when we return, we are going to take another ride in the Broom Wagon. Stay with us. Don't miss Beyond the Slipstream, our weekly companion podcast to the Team Bus, our domestique, if you will, dropping every Saturday in your usual podcast feed. We are back. Time for another ride in the Broom Wagon up the what's the name of that climb again? Hururu, Kiki Hururu, Kiri Hururu.
The pave.
Um, yeah, we're going up the cobbles. What have you got for us, Justin?
So I wanted to highlight a Rwandan racer. Obviously, the World Championships are in Kigali this week, and so I was interested to see who the most famous, Rwandan cyclist there was. Now, there's an American who, trained a lot in Rwanda and has been key in Rwandan cycling, and we'll talk about him in a couple weeks when we do the Rising from the Ashes documentary. But I want to talk about Adrian Niyonshuti. So he is a survivor of the Rwandan genocide, and he's a former pro bike racer who rode professionally for Team Dimension Data from 2009 to 2017.
I think he would have been on the same team as Cavendish.
It's very
If that's the
possible.
case. Yeah, I think Cavendish was on Dimension Data back then.
In 2021, he worked as a director sportif for the continental team Skoy Adrian Cycling Academy. And then, the biggest thing is that although he survived, he lost 6 brothers that were killed in the genocide. His parents and him made it out. But his uncle gave him a bike as a teenager, and he came to the attention of a former pro cyclist, Jacques Boyer, in 2006 during the first wooden bike classic. All right, so he was 7 years old.
We gotta cover that race.
Yeah, right. He was 7 years old when the militia surrounded his home in, I'm going to butcher this, Wamagana in eastern Rwanda. It's more than 30 years ago at this point, but he's still reluctant to discuss it. He said, "I don't like to go in deeper, but I will say in brief." He begins in 1994. Something happened, and we went to hide. That's just such an ominous statement. He's the most successful cyclist. He's the only rider from his country to ever compete at the sport's highest level. And the uncle was a well-known cyclist in Rwanda. His name was Emmanuel Teredzinza. And after the genocide, he told me, "Adrian, I lost my children. They should have been cyclists. But you, my nephew, I want to see you cycling." And he never saw me start a race because he passed away in 2002, but he gave him the bike that started him on his career. So, as
Wow,
we
what
are,
a story.
as we are watching the Rwandan World Championships, let's not forget, the insane tragedy that befell this country years ago, and the good that has risen from those ashes. So, and we'll be discussing it more in depth here in a couple weeks. But what do you got, my man?
Is that a full length movie or
It's like an hour and 20.
Like an hour 20 documentary? Yeah, nice. I'm super looking forward to that. It sounds great.
I was like,
All right,
as
well,
soon as I saw that, I was like, this has got to be a topic.
yeah, definitely. All right, I'm going to turn my attention to my broom wagon to a cycling adjacent sport that I like to touch base with, as listeners of this program will know from time to time, and that would be track and field. And I don't know if I've talked about this guy on the podcast before because the Olympics were in 2024. We did not start this podcast until after the
Yes.
Paris Olympics. But did we ever discuss Cole Hocker's
I don't think so.
his 1500 at the Paris Olympics? It was just absolutely amazing race. Go back and watch that one. I should have put a link for that one in there. I was really thinking we had talked about it, but Cole Hocker, he's an American middle distance runner, and I'm pretty sure in the Olympics he won the men's 1500 on a just absolute like last second kick that was just so exciting. Anyways, he's back, and the World Championships for track and field are happening in Tokyo right now, and he raced, I think, last weekend in the 1500, and he got DQ'd. And I put a link to the video in there. I thought it was funny. He was DQ'd for jostling, is the specific term. And basically what happened is, as they were coming in to the finish, he was just boxed. There was a guy in the front on the inside. There was a guy right beside him, in the second lane, basically. There was another guy kind of a little bit behind the second guy and a little to the right. And Hocker's like right in there with 3 guys around him, like no place to go. And the finish line is getting closer and closer. And he realizes, if I don't get in front of these guys, I'm not going to win this race. And he does one of these moves where, like, you're trying to get through a crowd. Like, he kind of does this number. It wiggles through them and then goes on to win the race. And the one dude that he wiggled through on the right-hand side it just blew his head up. He was like, what? And literally dropped back to the back of the bunch and like finished last, I think. And this is in the like the closing meters of the race. This guy went from from first to last because Hocker like gave him a little shimmy through there. So Hocker gets DQ'd, right? So he's back on the track again this past weekend in the 5,000 and just puts in an absolute amazing kick for the win. So watch those races. They're really good. I love those because they're like 5 minutes long. You know what I mean? You can go, like I've said before, you get on the YouTube video, you can literally watch the pre-race, the race, and the post-race, and the entire thing is 11 and a half minutes. You know what I mean? The interviews, everything. So, yeah, check it out. Cole Hocker getting DQ'd and then getting his redemptive win in the 5,000. So that's going to be all for this week. Join us next week for a full breakdown of the 2025 Women's and Men's World Championship road races, including both the U23s and the elites, as well as a review of everyone's favorite World Championship event, the Team Time Trial Women's and Men's Mixed Relay. Until then, for my brother Justin, I'm Matt Harper. Thanks for listening. We hope you'll join us again soon for another ride on the Team Bus. Ale. The Team Bus is a production of Harperama. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Please like and subscribe, smash that button, leave a 5-star review, and most importantly, tell all your friends about us. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time. Ale!